What's up, athletes? This is Coach Fish. This is going to be our first in a movement series for all of our functional push movements. We're going to start with the push-up today, and we're going to link that into the chain of overhead pressing, dips, and eventually handstand push-ups, some gymnastic style movement. This push-up we're going to master together today so we can get to those movements within this series. This push-up might be different than any other push-up that you've done before. That doesn't mean the push-ups that you're doing are wrong. You can keep doing those push-ups. I'll still do weird push-ups as well, but this is just different. I'll say that a lot in this series. It's not wrong, it's just different. Because we want to link this push-up to a handstand push-up, it's a little different on how we execute it than you might be used to. We're going to start by anchoring ourselves on the ground and linking through the chain. Our whole body is going to be into this push-up so we can have a nice efficient movement, because eventually we're going to turn upside down and have our whole body on top of our hands to do a pushing movement. So we need to make sure we link in that chain today. If handstand push-ups are not in your goals, that's okay. This push-up is still a really great way to muscularly add to that chest, have stable shoulders, and have a really nice stable body in everyday life. So we're going to start on the ground in the quadruped position. I'm going to show you forward first so you can see how I'm anchoring myself to the ground, putting my palms right underneath my shoulders, and I'm going to have a little bit of a soft elbow, not necessarily all the way locked out and really turned on. I just want to have that to where it's not bending, and I'm going to try to grab the ground with my fingertips. I'm going to turn the tips of my fingers white by grabbing the ground and spreading my fingers wide. Next, linking the chain up from the ground is my elbow and my shoulder. So what I'm going to do to secure those is I'm going to rotate my elbow pits forward and show them to the camera, right? I want to do that because one, my elbows are going to track backwards at about 45 degrees once I start my push-up, but that links in a little bit of that shoulder joint and locks in that elbow for me to where I have a good path to start pressing here. Then the next link in the chain would be that shoulder. What we're going to do here is recruit the big muscle of our back and our lat. This big muscle right here, I'm going to turn my elbow pits forward and then pull my shoulders down to my hips, right? That's going to link in those shoulder stability, and I should feel really stable in my upper body. If something tried to hit me in the shoulder right now, I'd barely move, as opposed to being de-linked, right? And just being floppy. So that's nice and locked in, pulling my shoulders to my hips. Now the next link in the chain are my hips, right? This chest is nice and stable now. I want to get all the way down to the hips. So instead of this cow motion, I'm going to go cat, right? And I'm going to tuck my tailbone in and pull my hips to my shoulders as I pull my shoulders back to my hips. That's going to link in that core and keep it really nice and stable for me. Next thing is I'm going to extend my quad and keep my feet behind me at about shoulder width apart. So I have a nice stable 4-point base here, and squeeze my quads and squeeze my glutes. And now I've got a good tabletop tall plank to start my push-up from. Mastering that position might be first, right? If you want to get into a tall plank and you cannot get your push-up yet, stability before transition is the way to go. If you're not feeling confident getting down in a push-up, it's okay. Work on that motion and you'll actually see I have a progression from if you can't do a push-up, we're going to go down slowly in control. But let's start with a good perfect push-up. I've got my setup. I've got my hands underneath my shoulders, rotated my elbow pits forward, pulled my shoulders down to my hips, tucked my hips into my shoulders, and then I extend my quads behind me. My elbows are going to track backwards at 45 degrees as I touch my chin right in front of my fingertips, and my chest and thighs touch the ground at the same time. Now I keep that connection and I press back up. My stable body does not change through these reps. If my stable body starts to change, I got to break in the link of the chain and I got to do something else. If you start to break down from the toes, it's okay. I get my same setup, then I just drop to my knees and keep the same angle. Chest and thighs touch the ground, press back up. That is how you effectively work on your push-up. If you ever break a link in the chain on the way, go ahead and drop down and go ahead and go from the knees. From there, people are trying to get to their first push-up, and they constantly do crappy push-ups to try to get to a perfect push-up. It's not the way it works. If you want to get a perfect push-up, you have to do perfect push-ups to get to more perfect push-ups, right? So that's one way to do it, where you start in that long lever of a full plank, drop to your knees, and then do it from your knees. But then you say, coach, I can't even press up from my knees. What am I gonna do? Well, then you're gonna add tension through an eccentric motion of whatever time you can control. So say I've got to do 10 push-ups in a workout and I can't get off the ground. I've got a good setup going from my knees and I start to, coach told me not to do that. It's not a good push-up. What do? I can't push myself off the ground. Here it's okay to peel up. Give yourself that good setup. Feel your core linked in, your shoulders locked in. Then you're gonna give an eccentric. You can go 3 to 5 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then peel yourself back up. Second rep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Adding that tension and that time it takes to get down to the ground is going to get you stronger in that flat body position. If I start to master that, one day you're going to be going down to the ground. You're like, man, I feel really strong. Whoa. Maybe I should try that from my toes now. And then you go to your toes. And then you come down and you're like, oh, crap, the same thing happened again. What did coach tell me to do? Peel myself up. Go down. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, that felt better. Teach your body to get into those positions with a little bit of time under tension, and that perfect push-up will come. I hope this helps you out in your functional movement. I'm going to do a few more movement categories. This was the first in our push, but we're gonna do pull, hinge, squat, and core. Comment below which one you want to see next week.